Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna work because obviously I have the dishwasher going, but I keep meaning to film this and I keep not doing it, so I might have to just scrap this movie because it's so loud, but I wanted to remember to do it because I really want to do it, and I feel like my summer's already really filling up. Like this week I have pretty free. So it's the first week of summer and it's pretty free. Next week I'm helping run a volleyball camp. So that's going to take up my mornings, and then since I'll already be up in the town where my school is, I'm going to swim after. And so I feel like my week's already starting to fill up. Next week is my last full week of summer in the US, and then the following week, halfway through, I'm going to take a train up to San Francisco, and I'm going to fly out to Spain. So that's exciting. Yeah, I'm still kind of trying to figure out where to film in here, because normally I do my classroom, and so we'll see. Who knows? I might even be scrapping this one because of that silly noise. Okay, so this is the what's the cost of being a teacher in blank, and I think it was created by Smartiestyle and Too Cool for Middle School, both of who are awesome YouTubers who I've been following for a while. And I hope it's okay that I'm doing this kind of late. I know they did this last Saturday. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I wrote it all out on here in case you're like, why does she keep looking down? So what state do you live in? I live in California, and for those of you outside of California, I don't know, maybe you know that it's like this kind of, we have a bunch of like different, almost like mini states within our state, I feel. You have Northern California, which is basically, to me, it's San Francisco North. And I also usually think of like the Tahoe area as Northern California. Then you have the Central Valley, which is, I want to say the San Ynez Mountains. We have two valleys, but we have the Central Valley, which is like Stockton, Modesto, Turlock. It goes all the way up to Sacramento. So I think of that as the valley, which has its own culture, its own, and honestly like pay scale kind of thing of everything. Then you have the Central Coast, which to me is south of San Francisco. Well, really, I think it's more like Santa Cruz all the way down to maybe like Santa Barbara. And then south of Santa Barbara to me is Southern California. And then I know they have their also valley, which is I think more desert like. You have like Palm Springs. That's to me. I don't know. So I live in the Central Coast, which is my town is actually equidistant to San Francisco and LA. So that's where I live. Yeah, and so anyways, that's where I live. I identify as Central Coast, California. How many people live in your household? Well, there's me and my dog, and then there's also another person who lives here. Do you own or rent? I rent. I really wish I owned. I don't. Honestly, the town I live in is a college town, and this is something I get really upset about. So basically what happens is a lot of the people who send their kids to the college in my town, it is a state university, and we have a really good community college, but it is a state university, but it's pretty hard to get into, and what happens is parents, because rent is so expensive, just buy their kid a house, rent it out to their kid and their friends, and then when their kid graduates, they continue to own it and rent it out. And so it gets to the point where it's so expensive to live here, and people, like the landlords, don't want to rent to you if you're a college kid and don't have a parent who can like sign for you, or they don't want to rent to you if you're a young professional because they can rent to those parents and be guaranteed the money. A lot of the parents will pay for the entire year up front, which I, as a teacher, cannot do. So anyway, that was a long rant about why I rent. I'd love to own. One of my friends just bought a trailer, and she bought some, or she hasn't bought property yet, but she's going to. And I'm like, that's starting to look pretty appealing. I'd love to own a home. This apartment, it's honestly, I managed to get in it when housing prices were a little less, so even though they've raised my rent a couple times, in comparison to the rest of the town I live in, it's not that expensive. But I can't afford to go own my own home, and this apartment, I take care of it. I really do, but there's a lot of things in it where it's so many groups of college kids, I think I said this in my other video, so many groups of college kids have gone through here that it's unless I want to pour in my own money to fix someone else's house, anyway, it's hard. That was a really long answer to a very short question. Do I own or do I rent? I rent. What is your highest level of education? So I have a bachelor's, 2 associates, and a teaching credential. So I guess my highest level is my credential. I'm going to go back for my master's next year. I was waiting until I had been teaching a little longer. I wanted to just be more stable and confident in my profession. So I'm going to be starting my 4th year, and I'm going to start my master's at the end of my 4th year so that I finish it at the end of my 5th year. Because my district actually, luckily, I know I'm really blessed to have this, and hope it still exists when I'm done, they will help you pay for some of your masters if you do it, I think, after your 5th year. So, which I get. They want to make sure that we're actually going to stay in the district. Makes sense. So this is question 5. Does your education level affect your pay? Yes, it does. So I think a lot of California public schools are this way, where you're on a salary schedule, and usually the first column is if you did a blended program where you did your your bachelor's and your credential at the same time. I know Humboldt does that. I think it was an option at Stanislaus. I didn't do that, obviously, because I already had my bachelor's. There's a couple schools that do that. Typically, I'd say if you are someone who is going into the teaching profession, I would pick a teaching program that's not blended. I know you think you're saving money because you're doing your credential at the same time as your bachelor's, so maybe it's not as many, it's not as high of a tuition cost, you think. But what that also means is you're going to have to go back and take a lot more classes just to move over on the salary schedule. So I think I'm in the 2nd column, and then this will be my 4th year, so I'm down. So yeah, it does affect it. I'm actually, like I said, because I have the associates, 2 associates, the bachelor's, and my credential. And then in between there, I was trying to save money. I did my bachelor's, then I took it was 2 or 3 years, sorry, I got hair in my face, 2 or 3 years, I was working 3 jobs, and I was taking a couple classes to try to prep me, but because I technically took them after my bachelor's, it actually helped me, and so I'm actually only 5 units away from the next column, so I need to just sit down and do that. So yeah, this summer I'm going to Spain, but I'm thinking next summer I might take, what I really want to take is a Spanish class, and that would move me over, and then I know more Spanish. I'm giving really long answers to all of these questions. Yes, it does affect my pay. Question 6, how much did it cost for you to attain your degree? Well, okay, so my bachelor's, I want to say my bachelor's was probably about $20,000, and then and that's not even counting my associates, because I did that at community college, and I was working a ton, and basically all my money went into that. So I actually, and also when I did community college, it was $14 a unit, which I'm so lucky that I got to do that. Yeah, I mean, books are really where it got you. And then my teaching credential, I want to say was like another 20,000. I may be wrong. I know. So here's the deal. When I did my credential, I felt like with my bachelor's, I was so focused on working all the time and trying to also go to school that I didn't give my education the focus it really deserved. And I was like, okay, this is my profession. I need to actually do that. So I took out more loans to help with living expenses during my credential. So I've been pretty aggressively trying to pay that back. So now I owe about $14,000. So I want to say on my credential. So I want to say it was probably about 2020. So probably about $40,000 to get my and I did all state schools. So so those are public schools, right? Yeah, I kind of try to focus not on how much it all overall costs, but just kind of what do I still owe, what do I still need to accomplish. And honestly, I loved my credential program, and I think it was 100% worth it. I mean, I wish it was less expensive, but I love my program, and I think it really did prepare me. Not that I feel like I'm like patting myself on the back here, but it was a good program. It was at California State University, Stanislaus. So it's out in the valley, out in Turlock. And yeah, I love that program. Go Warriors. Woo woo. Okay. Okay, 7. How is your salary schedule structured? Start point, max out, annual increases. Okay. That I should know. I think if you start out with a post-bachelor credential, you start out making under $40,000, and I don't know what you max out at. I should know that. I should have done that research. But I think it's, I should look that up. Let me pause you just for a sec. Pause. Okay, so I pulled up my laptop. So, I don't know how much you make if you don't have your bachelor, or if you don't have your post-bachelor, because the schedule I have only shows that. But looks like we got a break since I was a first-year teacher. So now your first year with just a credential, you get $46,000, and then you max out. That's without a master's. And then you max out at 25 years. Without a master's is $87,000, and with a master's is $88,000. And then you get, it looks like, yeah, so that's that, which was, let me close my laptop. So yeah, it's kind of weird. So where I live, like I said, it's near the coast. I'm about one town away from the ocean, so it takes like 20 minutes on a bike, 15 if you're driving. And I love this town, and a lot of people love this town, so it's really expensive to live here. And so yeah, that's our salary schedule. We don't make as much as some other districts, and what it doesn't factor in is benefits. I feel like I'm complaining here. When you're looking into a district, look at how much they pay, right? Because if I'd taken a job out in the valley, or if I'd been offered a job, not that it's like they're just flying at me, you know, but that's where I did my credential. So everyone who did my credential, or the credential with me, started out making at least $60,000. So that's $20,000 a year I'm not getting by living out here. And out there, you can buy a home for $100,000. Out here, you can't buy like a shack for $500,000. So it's a difference there. So anyway, but look at benefits too, because I know that's something that's not important to my district or to my union, and something that I'm clearly upset about is that they don't fight for us to have better benefits. And part of the reason is they assume that everybody's going to be on their spouse's health insurance. And awesome, if you have a spouse, first off, if you have a spouse and they have great insurance, that's great for you. What about the people who both of them are teachers in our district? Or you're a single lady, right? I'm too old to be on my mom's insurance, and also I shouldn't have to be. I'm a professional, right? And yeah, so look into, when you think about all of this, think about how much do you make in that district, or how much does any of these, but also what kind of benefits. So to have basic coverage, it's $600 a month for me, which is ridiculous. I had an operation it wasn't even an operation. Like, maybe this is TMI. I had a colonoscopy, and it paid, like, I was paying it for a really long time, and it completely depleted everything. That's actually one of the reasons I decided to go to Spain. Because I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be killing my savings for a colonoscopy, why? Like, if I'm gonna kill my savings, I'm gonna go do it on something I want to do. Like, do the Camino de Santiago in Spain, right? Anyway, I'm very ranty today. I'm sure I'm just gonna delete this video anyway because of that loud thing, but we'll see. 8. Where are you in your salary schedule? Okay, so I think I'm still column B, but I'm 5 units away, so I should be in column C. Do you supplement your income in any way? Yes, I do. I coach girls volleyball, and so that's a little bit, and that's a fall sport. If I was to pick up another sport, I'd get a little bit more. And then one of my coworkers has been talking about training me to do sound, which would be another stipend that I could tack on. I am vice president of PTO, but that doesn't give me any money, and I'm on a behavior support school climate committee, which also doesn't give me any money, extra money. So I feel like I'm on other committees. Oh, I'm on the calendar committee, that's no extra money. I didn't do union just because the union reps, which I think you do actually get money for that, our union reps, sorry, this flower's like in my face. The union reps we have do a really good job, most of them. And so we actually did just have an election, and someone asked me, like, oh, are you gonna apply? Nah, they're doing a really good job, and I think I want more experience before I jump into something like that. How much money does your district give you at the beginning of the year? So I'm actually really lucky. They give us $300, and that's for the whole year. And they actually supply us with copy paper throughout the year. Not colored paper or anything like that, but yeah, copy paper. And that's for everything. So like, I actually use a lot of that on colored paper for like our IMBs. We print them out. Although it's going to be different this year because we're piloting a new textbook, so I don't know. And then we always do vocab words, which we have 80 vocab words, 180 students. That's a lot of vocab cards I need to buy, 3x5 note cards. So, and then my department I love my department. They're the best. But we're really good about sharing our resources. So while technically we all have 300, usually what we do is I'll be like, oh, hey, I used all my budget. Like, this is something we're going to share. And we share stuff a lot. So we're usually pretty fluid about like, oh, you can use my money. And so we'll tell the principal's secretary, like, if blanks, if she's gone over her budget, just pull from mine or whatever. So, yeah, we're a good bunch, I think. But yeah, I'm really lucky. I know some districts don't even get that. And I know in elementary, I think most elementary teachers only, I know in our district, they only get 100. And part of the reason for that, and I'm not saying this is okay or anything, part of the reason is I have 180 kids and they have classes of 35 kids, which is way too many kids. But I think that's so loud. I think that's why we get a little more, because we have more student contacts. And I know in elementary, the school provides more of like the glue sticks, the colored pencils, and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Do you have additional deductions taken from your paycheck? So yeah, this is actually something I've been trying to fix. My first year, I was like, oh yeah, I want death insurance. And then I was like, hold on. Yeah, my mom's gonna be sad if I die, but I don't need to provide for anybody. Like, I don't have, you know. So I've been paying into that and I've been trying to get out of it. So I do have that. I don't know what it's actually called. It's like a thing where they take money out of your paycheck, and if you die, you have like a beneficiary who gets some money or something. So I do that. And then I have the retirement, the one that's just part of, I think it's CalSTRS. It's just it's like instead of Social Security. But then I also pay, I take $200 out of my paycheck every month, which is a lot for me, but it's important. And I take it out and I put it into a retirement fund that it's like an investment. It's not like a high risk one, just because just putting in investments is difficult for me. I'm scared. I'm like, oh, what if I lose all my money? But so I do that. And the reason being, maybe you don't need to know all this, but some of my family members, due to different things, don't have retirements anymore, and I'm really scared for them, and I'm scared for myself. And so because of that, I take that money out of my paycheck now, because now it's not a big deal for me. I mean, like, yeah, maybe I can't do as much, but I would rather take care of myself in the future, you know? So anyway, that, I can't think if there's anything else. Deductions taken from my paycheck, I think it's just that. And then I, after last year and the whole colonoscopy thing, I'm just on the lowest health insurance now. They used to give you $500 and say don't get sick. They don't even do that now. It's basically cross your fingers kind of thing, but it doesn't charge me anything. And so that's what I'm on, and knock on wood, let's hope I'm okay. But question 12, do you feel like your current salary is enough for you to make ends meet? No, I don't. I think if I lived somewhere else, it would be. I know that in comparison to some other states, I make a lot. The cost of living here is crazy. I remember when I moved here from Massachusetts, which also has a pretty high prices, right? Just like dairy is so expensive here. Makes no sense. We provide a lot of dairy, right? Here in California, we do. We grow so much food, yet it's so expensive, and rent is so expensive. So I actually don't think it is enough. I'm trying to pay down my credit card debt from doing my credential. Again, like I said, I just subbed at that time, and so I honestly, I got credit card debt, and so I'm trying to pay that down. I'm trying to pay down my student loans. Maybe if I didn't have those, it wouldn't be as much of a hardship. But yeah, I feel like I'm barely making ends meet. So I don't think it is enough. That being said, there are things I could cut out of my budget. I do have a membership to a gym, which is probably like $15 a month. Every couple months I do color my hair. and that's something that I could cut out. But I also find that for myself, if I cut out everything that's like fun and splurgy a little, then I'm unhappy, but also then I finally break down and I splurge on something stupid, like, that I didn't need to spend all that money. So I don't know, that's kind of my justification for it. So I could cut those things out, but I think also the cost of living here is just too high, and the salary doesn't reflect that. And the districts will straight up tell you that it's because they can fill your job with no problem, because everybody wants to live here. I mean, not obviously everybody, but every time they post a job in my area, they get hundreds and hundreds of applicants, and you know, they can fill my spot easy, so they're not going to pay us more. Also, the district I'm in has a pretty high poverty, and so I don't think they get a ton from property tax, but I think actually the funding in general, it's weird. People we have one Title I school. Technically, more of our students should be classified as that, but they, they hide, if that makes sense. Our like official demographic and official free and reduced lunch count is not accurate. It's a lot lower than who actually needs it. We have a lot of homeless kids, a lot of anyway, I got way off track. No, I don't feel like it's enough. 13. How many months a year do you receive a paycheck? So we're paid 10 months out of the year. I receive one 12 months because I know that like some other people were saying that, you know, they do that and then they set up with the credit union and that way they, you know, receive some more of it. I just, for me, 12 months makes better. It makes better. It makes more sense. And so, yeah, my district allows that. My friend who teaches actually down in the town I live in, he doesn't have that option. And so summer's always really hard for him. And he always packs his summer with a lot of stuff because he needs to keep receiving a paycheck. So I think I luck out with that I have that option. I don't know. 14, in general, what are your monthly expenses? Okay, so I have rent, I have credit card debt, I have student loan debt, car payment, food, gas, my website that I use for school, a storage unit, because like I said in my other video, right, this apartment is clearly not meant for 2 adults, entire apartments worth of stuff. So I actually have a lot of my stuff in storage. What else do I pay? We have food. Pretty much it. I mean, I really don't go shopping for clothes or anything much. That's pretty much it. And honestly, I don't pay for my food nearly as much as I should. Yeah. I doubt you guys can even hear this because of everything back there. I'll go back and watch this and see if it's even worth keeping. Are there any financial goals that you are still working on? Yeah, I want to pay off my student loans. I want to pay off all my credit card debt. I want to own a home. Those are the things. So I'm going to work on paying off my credit card debt first. I have pretty good credit. Last time I checked anyway, I did. And so I want to do that. And then I want to own a home. That's kind of the big one for me. Just growing up, my family, we always worked on our home a lot. And that's something that's really hard for me, living in a place that doesn't even have a yard. I can't have a garden. I want to paint things. I want to make my home look how I want it, and I can't do that living in an apartment. And last but not least, 16, what is the biggest piece of financial advice you would offer someone considering teaching? I would say don't do the blended program. So, you know, do your credentials separate from your bachelor's. Put into your retirement, your own retirement, not the state retirement, as much as you can. Scale it up as you get raises or as you bump up the pay scale, because you can deal with being poor right now. When you're older, when you're retiring, that's when it's going to be harder. So suffer now and enjoy it later. But I also think it's important to save a little and do things that make you happy. Like this trip to Spain. I know I've been getting a lot of flack from people that are like, you say you're poor, you say, you know, you can't do all this, and yet you're going to Spain. Okay, yeah. And that flight was expensive. I'm also walking across and sleeping outside. So I'm not actually going to be, the flight is the most expensive part. The rest of it is not going to be too expensive. So, and you know what? I want to enjoy life. I want to hike across Spain while I can. You know, I'm not married. I don't have a kid. I have a dog, and someone's going to watch her. Luckily, because I have good friends. But I'm going to do that, and I think you should too. Also, we don't go into teaching for the money. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to get more money, but there is more to life than money, you know? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think that we should be paid more, because I think teachers are not valued in our society, which is ridiculous, because we're going to pay for it later if we do not value teachers and we don't encourage people to go into the profession. But also, I mean, money isn't everything. Like, I'm sitting here complaining about my apartment and where I live and how much I make, but realistically, like, I have an apartment, you know? Like, I have a job. And so, I don't know. We don't go into teaching for the money, that's for sure. It's nice, but it's not the reason we become teachers. So, think about that. I mean, it's no surprise that teachers aren't paid a lot. And I know that, you know, I'm paid more than some other states. So, you know, I don't know. Just some stuff to think about it. So this video ended up being, it looks like 32 minutes long. Wow. Okay. That's a lot longer than I meant for it to be. And who knows, maybe I'll even be scrapping it. So anyhow, I will talk to you guys later. And yeah, thanks Too Cool for Middle School and Smartiestyle for creating this. I think it's good, and I'm excited to see the other. See you later. Bye.